doing good for all. No matter our circumstances, we should live lives of integrity before all people. Here's Gene to explain.
When the news reached Pharaoh's house, Joseph's brothers have come. This is when now they've all come down to Egypt, bringing their father with them. Total of 70 people. Pharaoh and his servants were pleased. Why were they pleased? Because of Joseph. Because they were able, even as pagans, to reciprocate, as it were, for what Joseph had done to save them by managing all of the crops and building these reserves so they could go through this famine. Joseph had a remarkable witness throughout Egypt. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers, do this, load your animals, go on back to the land of Canaan. Get your father," and this of course is before the father came, "get your father and your households and come back to me, and I will give you the best of the land of Egypt." Wow. You talk about reciprocation. You talk about doing good to people who have done good to you, even as a pagan. In that sense, a pagan is a good example for us, even those of us who know Christ. "I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can eat from the richness of the land." That was because of Jacob's witness, his integrity. And then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Now that your father and brothers have come to you, the land of Egypt is open before you. Settle your father and brothers in the best part of the land." He is so grateful for Joseph and what Joseph has done. They can live in the land of Goshen, which was an incredibly productive part of the land of Egypt. And if you know of any capable men among them, put them in charge of my livestock. I'm glad they're here. But all that, you see, goes back to his integrity. We read in verse 27, "Israel settled in the land of Egypt, in the region of Goshen, and they acquired property in it, and they became fruitful and very numerous." And that, of course, is another story which picks up in the book of Exodus. Doing good for all. And we have a wonderful New Testament passage on this. Galatians 6. Great lesson for all of us. "So we must not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity," and by the way, opportunities are all around us. Let's take advantage of them. "Therefore, as we have opportunity, we must work for the good of all, especially for those who belong to the household of faith." In other words, we have a responsibility to do good for everybody, even the pharaohs of this world and the pagans of this world, but especially for those who are brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, the household of faith. And so the question, why is Jesus' prayer in John 17, 20, 21 so important in applying this principle? Well, notice that prayer. We've looked at it so often. We keep going back to it. It's so important. Jesus prayed, "I pray not only for these," that is the apostles, "but also for those who believe in me through their message." That's us. Jesus is praying for us because we became believers because of the message of the apostles. And here's the prayer. "May they all be one, as you, Father, are in me and I'm in you. May they also be one in us." Why? Why? "So the world may believe you sent me." See, that's why Jesus' prayer is so important in relationship to doing good. It begins with what happens in our own lives within the household of faith, and then it's witnessed by the world and demonstrates through this oneness in our lives with each other, this care and concern. It gives witness to the fact that God sent Jesus Christ to be the Savior of the world. So that's a powerful, powerful concept, love and unity.